we just have one of these games? Okay, it was 103 episodes ago, but still. That's only 9 months in Famicom time. Taito was really cranking out these Bakushou Jinsei Gekijou games. And I have to say, Bakushou Jinsei Gekijou 3 is the best Jinsei game on the Famicom. That is not a compliment. In Japanese, Jinsei means life, and in this case, it's referring to the board game Life. That's the board game where you spin a wheel, move that many spaces, and then have random events occur to you. It's very similar to a traditional Japanese game called Sugoroku, which might be why derivatives of the game of life are so popular there. On the other hand, as regular viewers of this channel know, I hate these games. One of the cornerstones of game design is that players have to have an effect on the outcome of the game. Let's play a game right now. We're going to flip a coin. Heads you win, tails I win. We'll flip and you win! Congratulations! And that victory meant absolutely nothing to you. The Jinsei games are that on a much larger scale. Sometimes you do get choices, but they're meaningless ones. Do I take the upward path or the downward path? Well, it doesn't really matter because you don't know what's coming up. You might as well just be flipping a coin there. On every turn in Bakushou Jinsei Gekijou 3, you spin, get a number between 1 and 6, move that many spaces, and then watch the event that occurs on that space. You have 3 stats, brains, brawn, and luck, and the results of the space you land on can be changed by those stats, but those spaces can also change the value of those stats. And really, it's just all random. For example, in the game I was recording, I had one of the computer opponents whose total stats were above 50. My total stats wound up around 35, and then there was a sad computer-controlled player whose stats were around 10. We all started out the exact same, it just came down to what squares we landed on. Now, there are a few mini-games that affect what path you can take. Like here, you play rock, paper, scissors against God, except you have to attack and defend after you play the round. You're playing for access to a better path. And here, you have to pass a 10-question quiz before you're allowed to continue on the good path. But these opportunities have a relatively small effect on how your life goes. You're going to get a lot more impact from just the regular squares you're landing on. Unfortunately, Bakushou Jinsei Gekijou 3 continues the series tradition of being way too long. When I stopped recording after an hour, I was in early adulthood. There was at least another hour of the game to go, probably more than that even. The strangest thing about Bakushou Jinsei Gekijou 3 is that it comes with a different Sugoroku board game. The manual folds out to become a completely different roll and move board game based around world travel. It's not a good board game. You roll a die, land on a square where it tells you to move forward or backward a certain number of spaces, or possibly lose a turn. It's just weird that it exists at all. Now, even though I hate the game, it was a fairly large success for Taito. This is the final Famicom entry. The series goes on for quite a while. And even though this is Taito's final Jinsei game on the Famicom, unfortunately, I have a few more of these to go. For Bakushou Jinsei Gekijou 3, I do think that they did a better job of integrating alternate paths. A lot of times, they're the exact same length as the regular path. And I think that the mini-games are better, although still not great. Visually, it's a nicer package than the rest of them too. So if you absolutely, positively have to play a Jinsei game, Bakushou Jinsei Gekijou 3 is probably a good choice. But don't do that to yourself. You've got better things you could spend 3 hours on.